Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Gratitude Journey with Michelle. I'm Michelle Ferguson, and today's episode, we will explore what it means to rebuild life after loss through gratitude, reflection, and gentle reinvention. In today's episode, it's about something that can feel very tender after grief joy. Not the big, loud, perfect kind of joy, but the quiet ones, the kind that shows up in ordinary moments and sometimes disappear just quickly as it comes. And that kind that often leave us wondering, is it okay to feel this again? Before we begin, I want to ask you something simple, but be honest, okay? Have you ever had a moment where you smiled, you laughed out loud, or felt at peace, and then immediately question yourself? Maybe it feels like, should I be feeling like this? Am I moving on too fast? What does this mean about my love? If you ever had that inner conversation, you are not alone. I had it too. After Jerry passed, joy felt like a little bit complicated. I remember one morning sitting with my coffee as the sunlight came through my window, and everything around me was still, peaceful, and almost beautiful. And then, for a brief moment, I felt okay. But then grief quickly followed, and so did guilt. Because at that moment, I thought, how can anything feel so okay when my world has just changed so much? But over time, something slowly became clearer to me. That moment of peace didn't mean that I was forgetting him, or it didn't mean that I love him any less. It means something too much deeper. It meant I am still alive inside my grief. And both things could coexist at the same time. The truth about joy, and this is something that I want to gently share with you today, is that joy isn't the absence of pain. Joy is the willingness to experience life despite the pain. Joy doesn't replace grief, it walks beside it. And when we begin to understand that, we stop waiting for life to be perfect before we allow ourselves to experience it again. We start noticing something important. Joy is already happening quietly in the background of our everyday lives. We just have to slow it down enough to see it. One thing that helped me in my grief journey is simple exercises to find joy, which I'm gonna share with you. Exercise one, joy awareness. Let's begin it here. Right, right where you are. Take a slow breath in and slow breath out, and then gently notice two things that you see, two things that you hear, or one thing that you appreciate right now. It doesn't have to be big. It could be the warmth of your hands, the light in your room, the sound of your breath. The fact that you made it through this moment today, this is how joy begins again. Not in effort, but in awareness. The small moments matter. We often expect joy to arrive as the big life changes, but most of the time, joy is much quieter than that. It shows up as a text message from someone who cares, a moment of laughter that you didn't expect, a memory that brings warmth instead of pain. And these moments may seem small, but they are not small at all. They are evidence that life is still speaking to you. Gratitude and joy are connected. Gratitude is what helps us notice this moment because grief naturally narrows our attention to what is missing, but gratitude gently widens our awareness, our capacity. It doesn't remove grief, it expands our capacity to hold more sadness, but also appreciate more beauty, more memory, more presence, more life. After Jerry passed away, I added a daily evening gratitude practice. It's a simple practice that every evening rather, I wrote down three things that I was grateful for. The same concept as my daily morning gratitude. And some days it's easy, but some days it could be felt very small, just like a warm shower, a quick moment. I was able to leave the work before sunset. But over time, something shifted. My mind started looking for moments of goodness throughout the day instead of only at the end or writing it down at the end. And that changed everything. Exercise number two, moments of joy. Let's pause here and do something simple but powerful. Take out your notebook or your phone and write or type moments of joy that I almost missed. Now list 5 moments from your past week. Don't overthink it. Okay? It could just like you notice a smile from a stranger. It could be someone opening the door for you, a conversation, a moment of calmness, cuddling with your four-legged son. As you write, ask yourself gently, how many moments of joy you were already there that you didn't fully see at the time? One of the biggest surprises in my grief journey was this. Ready? Reinvention is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you are underneath that grief. For me, that looks like stepping back into the life again, like traveling again, going back scuba diving, learning French, writing, speaking, going back to my volunteerism, volunteering work, building this community. And I'm doing it not because grief disappeared, but because I learned that I could carry grief and still live. And you can too. Number three, exercise your joy list. Now let's go a little deeper. Create a list of 20 to 25 things that brings you joy, not responsibilities, not obligations, but just joy. Okay? Then it could be music, it could be reading, it could be playing guitar, piano, cooking, photography, journalizing, doing karaoke with a friend, laughing out loud with a friend, spending time with a family. And going through that list, now choose one thing from your list, okay? And this week, intentionally make space for it. Not when you have time, but as a small act of honoring your life. As we come forward to the end of this episode, I want to leave you with this thought. Joy is not something we chase, it's something we begin to notice again. It's always present in the small moments. It pauses, in breath, in spending time with our puppy, in gratitude, in presence. And the more we notice it, the more we realize it never fully left. I also wanted to extend a weekly gratitude challenge for all of us. Ready? For the next 7 days, I want you to do this simple practice. Each evening, write down one thing that made you smile, one thing that gave you peace, and one thing that you are grateful for. And at the end of the week, read it back slowly and notice what begins to happen inside of you. Not because life became perfect, but because you became present. Okay? And if there's one thing I hope you take away from this episode, aside from Spike here, is that you don't have to choose between grief and joy. They can exist together. You can miss someone and deeply still love again. You can carry love and still live fully. You can remember the past and still step into your present because healing is not forgetting. Healing is learning how to live with love still in your heart. Thank you for being here with me today. And if this episode spoke to you, please like, subscribe, and share it to anyone or with someone whom you need this reminder. And remember, even in the most tender seasons of our life, there's always something to be grateful for. Until next time, keep choosing gratitude, keep choosing presence, and keep finding joy in every moment. I'm Michelle Ferguson, and this is Gratitude Journey with Michelle. Take care. Say take care.